The LA Clippers actually got a good win without Kawhi Leonard against a good team, the defending champions. Even though they didn't have Jamal Murray, it was a great game, one that I was lucky enough to attend. And I thought it started with the stars all the way to the bench. Going to be talking about it all, how we got it done against the Nuggets on today's Locked On. Kind of a comeback, down by 17. Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, and in my 19th season as a Clipper fan. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. I want you to let me know what your favorite part of this win was. In this episode, going to be talking about what I think was the main reason for the win, then elaborating by talking about the rest of the team and other factors in the win, talking about the sequence of the game, and the guys that always get scapegoated. I think I'm going to say something about them. Now, this was a good game to go to. Felt like a sold-out house. Haven't checked the attendance numbers yet, but good win. I mean, anytime you can, the attendance says sold out on ESPN. So, and it felt that way. Anytime you get a chance to see, and this is just coming out of respect, you get to see the best player in the world play, and Nikola Jokić, that's a blessing. When you get to see somebody that's the best player in the world and it's pretty consensus at the time they're the best, it's just something you got to not take for granted. And I think this was a great situation where Jokić had some amazing moments where he showed just how great he was. We also did a pretty good job on him, though, all things considered. And I don't care what stat line he put up and how efficient it was. We forced him to 5 turnovers and an L. And it never felt like, man, we just were helpless against Jokić. It just did not feel that way, except for some stretches of the first half. But I thought the reason why the Clippers went down by 17 was because we were just getting destroyed in transition because we couldn't score. And a lot of that definitely stems from Jokić. I mean, Jokić is the engine to everything. But it just did not feel like he was unstoppable like it normally is when we play him. It just felt we did a better job in this game. And I'm going to talk about what that comes down to, or what that came down to in the game. But such a good game to go to. So check out the vlog that's going to be on my channel on Friday. It will be up. It was great. But let's talk about what I thought kind of kickstarted everything. And that was the aggression of our stars and the performances of our stars. James Harden and Paul George is who I'm referring to here, and they played a lot better than they did against Sacramento. Paul George was far more aggressive in this game. You saw elbow P 9 times. 9 times. James Harden was far more aggressive and had his first 20-point game in a long while. So just off the bat, we needed that. We needed our star guys to be aggressive. We needed James Harden to be more aggressive. And it felt like he was, because he shot 4 shots right away in the first quarter. And I was like, okay, someone's clearly told James Harden, don't be hesitant in this game. And clearly he wasn't. But he wasn't knocking shots down in the beginning of the game. And quite frankly, no one really was in the first quarter for us, besides Paul George. Zoo was 1 for 4 in the first and played basically the entire one because they were trying to match him up with Jokić as much as possible. Terrence Mann was 1 for 3 in the first. Russ was 1 for 4 in the first. And James Harden was 0 for 4 in the first, having only played half of it. So it was kind of like, God, can James get out of this slump? And while all this is happening, we're not even getting, it's not like we're getting terrible looks. Zubac is continuing where he left off last game, missing some shots around the rim. Harden just can't make a shot, and he was actually getting some decent looks. And Russell Westbrook was just missing some shots around the basket, which, again, none of this is, besides Zubac, who shoots a pretty good percentage around the basket, none of that's out of the ordinary, but it was all happening at once. And it was just felt like every time we missed, Jokić was getting the ball, and they were finding KCP in transition, who every single shot he took in this game felt like it went in. He was actually 6 for 13 in the game and 4 for 7 from 3, but 4 for 7 from 3 is pretty damn good. 16 points for him. He was the third leading scorer for the Nugs after Jokić and Gordon. Now, I have to say, this Nuggets team is so different without Jamal Murray. Just nowhere near the threat. But we didn't have Kawhi Leonard. So, if anything, it evens out, and I think we're losing more because we're losing our best player. But, fully healthy Nuggets versus Clippers, I still tend to favor the defending champions if I'm just being honest. But James Harden, I think, has made our matchup better with them. Because what do I say bothers Harden, and has been bothering Harden recently especially? When a team has a good point of attack defender and a good drop big. The Nuggets have some good point of attack guys. Peyton Watson, KCP, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown. Jokić has gotten a lot better, but I don't think he's that great of a drop big. He's not a very good rim protector. He's like honestly, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say just now. I was going to say he's a way worse version. I'm contradicting myself, but I was going to say he was a way worse version of Marc Gasol defensively, in the sense that he knows angles, he knows his body well, he knows how to use it. But Marc was just such an infinitely better defender than Jokić. But Jokić showed last playoffs that he's no slouch. He's not somebody you can just abuse and take advantage of constantly. But that being said, you want to make him guard. You want to put him in the pick and roll. And I think it's better when Jokić is coming out to the level of the screen and getting active with his hands. And he's actually decent at not getting the corner turned on him and making the ball handler make a pass. And then the Nuggets have always had big forwards like Jeremy Grant, Aaron Gordon, even Paul Millsap to just kind of be the low man and just kind of rotate and get and recover. So when you saw Jokić go in and drop a couple times, James Harden was getting really good shots. Wasn't really going for us in the first quarter. We were down 25-8 at one point. But second quarter is when James Harden really started going. And it began with an open three that he walked into. And then after that, he actually blew by Aaron Gordon. Aaron was showing him to his right and went all the way to the basket, so that's good to see. And then he hit a three against Christian Brown that almost was a 4-point play. So when I saw that, and, Harden was in his bag tonight in the sense that he was dribbling a lot. There was a lot of possessions, whether it was 10-plus seconds shaved off the clock from him just bringing the ball up and dribbling. And for me, at times, it was frustrating. It wasn't super efficient. He was 6 for 23 from the field. But that second quarter was one of the best quarters he's had in a while and absolutely helped us in this game because it was our best quarter. We lost the first quarter 31-20, but in the second quarter, we outscored them 33-18. Broke pretty even in the third, 22-21. And then they outscored us by 3 in the fourth, 30-27. We ultimately ended up beating them 102-100, but that second quarter was absolutely massive, and James Harden was absolutely massive in it. Paul George in the first quarter, though, was the guy. He was 4 for 8 from the field and played the entire thing. 9 points for him right off the bat, which was great to see. Second quarter, the Nuggets in the non-Jokić minutes, that's when we really started our push. Amir Coffey got going. Classic Norman Powell. Russell Westbrook, his pace, his effectiveness on the defensive end. He blocked Michael Porter at one point, getting downhill constantly, changed some things, and we saw that nice link up, one in each half, James Harden to Russell Westbrook on the lob, and those were the plays that, in my opinion, being at the game tonight, the crowd got the most energized on. But second quarter, these guys, the Nuggets shot 8 for 23 in the quarter, 2 for 11 from 3, and those non-Jokić minutes were just brutal. And MPJ it felt like rough the whole night. Yeah, 6 for 18 from the field, 2 for 10 from 3. And yeah, it was those 10 threes. A lot of them were just contested threes, hand in the face from the corner. And I'm just like, okay, it's a complete bailout because, yeah, he'll make those shots. But is that a good shot? I don't know if that's a good shot. That's a shot that he makes, but I think he can get easier shots. But again, a lot of guys are obsessed with shooting contested threes these days. As far as James Harden, Norman Powell, and Amir Coffey, they played the entire second quarter. James had 14 in the second on 4 for 7 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3. Norm had 5 in the quarter, and Amir 2 for 2. So it was great to see those. Amir Coffey, who's been struggling, and James Harden, who's been struggling, mainly James Harden, play well in that quarter. Third quarter was all Paul George, especially to start, coming off screens, attacking the basket, emphasis on attacking the basket. So that was good. We went up by 13, but in classic Denver Nugget fashion, Jokić fashion, they slowly came back, and Jokić, just making plays. It's just so hard to stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And we also went a little cold in that fourth quarter. There's no sugarcoating it. Just wanted to let you guys know how much Paul had in the third. 9 points again. So 18 points in the first and third quarters. But fourth quarter, Clippers shot 30% from the field and 0 for 6 from 3. I mean, it was kind of a disaster shooting the ball in that fourth quarter. 2 for 5, PG, 7 points. Zoo actually had 8 points in the quarter, 6 for 6 from the line. And I'm going to get into Zoo down the line in the episode. But James Harden, look, he and Norman Powell played the whole fourth, and I admire James Harden for being aggressive because we wanted him to be. But he was 1 for 8 in the fourth, and his legs completely went because if you go back and watch, all of his shot attempts towards the end of the game were all threes and were all short off the front of the rim, which shows me that you're tired, which is we've seen James Harden's been tired the last couple of months. Or weeks, I should say. I don't know about months. It's been like a month and change, right? Basically since the All-Star break. I liked that he was aggressive, and we couldn't have won without him. But he still was, he wasn't efficient, but I thought he was our second best player. Actually, no, our third best player in this game. I think Paul George and Zubac were our best. James Harden, though, overall, 20 points. Finally had 20 points. 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Had some really nice passes in pick and roll per usual. 6 for 23 from the field. He actually shot more shots than anyone on our team. 2 for 13 from 3. 13 of his 23 shots were threes, and I went back and counted. 9 of them were contested. So, again, those are not good shots, in my opinion. He'll make them sometimes. They've never been great shots. He used to have it in his bag. A lot of that tween, or that tween cross into the pullback. Again, no Kawhi. I'm fine with it. With Kawhi, can't be taking those shots, but also can't be not aggressive at all. And then Paul George, 28 points. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals on 10 for 21 shooting. So shot pretty well. 2 for 6 from 3, 6 for 8 from the line. Didn't like the 6 for 8 from the line. Clippers winning it 102-100 after some big stops late. Nikola Jokić had a heave late in the game and did not make it. Coming up, going to be talking more about what happened defensively, how we got that win against the likes of Nikola Jokić and the bench. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC is a registered broker-dealer. All right, Clippers winning this one 102-100 against the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Again, granted, no Jamal Murray, but we did not have our guy, number 2, Kawhi Leonard, who missed his second straight game with that knee soreness. Remember, he was ruled out a day before, which is a little concerning. But before the episode ends, I'm going to give you an update on what I heard about Kawhi Leonard's status. So you definitely don't want to leave. Anyway, Clippers winning it 102-100. Was this the best win since? Is this a better win than the Orlando game on the road? You guys can let me know in the comments, please. But I guess that's the only candidate, because besides that, I don't think we had a very good win since that Minnesota game in the beginning of March on the road. But by the way, the last time James Harden had 20-plus points was against the – man, I thought it was against the Chicago Bulls, but I was wrong. It was against the Houston Rockets on March 6th. So basically a month ago, essentially. This episode's coming out on April 5th. So it was great to see James Harden have that 20 points. Now, Paul George, super aggressive as well. Got to the rim left and right. Now, okay, that's excessive. Not left and right, but he got to the rim several times, which I love, and against good defenders too. Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, KCP. Loved what I saw from Paul, and again, that's what makes him so frustrating. That's what he can be. And before I get into the bench, this is what I have to say about it. Mid-post P, elbow P. I always say I love when he catches the ball there. I counted 8 times in this game, actually 9. He was 4 for 8 when he started by catching the ball there around that area. The final possession, we went to elbow P. But Aaron Gordon did a good job of kind of pushing him further out. So now he caught the ball a little further than the elbow extended. And it's not Ty Lue's fault. I don't think that was a bad play design. Did you want the ball in James Harden's hands or a pick and roll after he was shooting 1 for 8 and was 6 for 23 in the game? Like, no, we want the ball in our best player on the court's hands, Paul George. Elbow P was 50% from the field in the game. I'll take a chance with that. Aaron Gordon is one of the best defenders in the NBA, guarding him. PG just was doing something dumb. He held the ball way too long, didn't even dribble, and just passed. He gave James Harden a taste of his own medicine, passing the ball a couple seconds on the clock. Harden did that to Russ in this game. It was funny. Not really, though. In either way, I hate that stuff. Drives me up the wall when guys throws the ball to their team at the end of the shot clock because they think if they shoot, they're going to brick, even though they've completely taken away the shot clock. I hate it so much. LeBron does that too. I can't stand it. And so James was put in a tough position with that shot. So my bad. He was 6 for 22 at the moment. The funniest part was, though, after Mike Malone got ejected, which was hilarious, by the way. And again, the Nuggets may have not gotten some calls, but we also got some rough ones. Paul George got absolutely raked around the basket by KCP. What was that all about? And Jokić got away with 1 or 2 travels. But again, I'm watching the game from a Clippers-centric lens, so Nuggets fans probably think they got robbed of a bunch of calls. So I haven't watched the game from a Nuggets fan perspective, nor will I. But, I mean, Jokić, it's so hard to guard the guy without fouling. But the bench, that was one of the reasons why we got in this game. To start the game, though, the matchups were Reggie on Terrence Mann, KCP on Paul George, Aaron Gordon on James Harden, Joker on Zubac, and MPJ on PJ Tucker, who I haven't even mentioned that we started in this game. And in the first quarter, he was so non-existent, so bad that we didn't even play him in the second at all. Jokić was in drop coverage, as I mentioned. Both teams were switching 1 through 4. Obviously, Zubac is in drop coverage. Zoo was guarding Joker. Terrence was guarding Reggie. PJ was on MPJ. PG on Aaron Gordon. And Harden on KCP. And as I said, we were switching 1 through 4. And, of course, going under the screens when Aaron Gordon was on the ball. And then sometimes when Jokić is on the ball. Because Jokić doesn't always pull the trigger on that 3 ball when you go underneath screens. But Jokić was cooking us in the beginning of the game, right? That was part of the reason we were down 17. But of the 5 shots he made in that first quarter, Zubac got scored on twice, PG once. One, he just caught the ball in the middle of the zone. Then the other one was on a pick and roll situation. So I thought Zoo actually wasn't doing a bad job on Joker in the first quarter, and he had 6 rebounds in the first, but we were struggling as a team with the Reggie Jackson Jokić dribble handoff. And here's the thing about Jokić dribble handoff, no matter who he's playing with, it's so lethal because you need to account, in general, when a guard is coming off a screen, if you don't have a great point of attack guy, which we don't really, especially without Kawhi, he's basically getting a line drive to the basket. So that's why your big is either in drop. Your big has to do something on a pick and roll. And just defensively, whoever is guarding the screener has to show some help on the ball handler, right? But when you're showing help off of Nikola Jokić, and he's so good with that floater, or if he picks and pops, he's wide open for 3, what do you do as the defense? You got to bring someone over and rotate, and then you not expose, but you force Jokić to do something that he's arguably better at than scoring, and that's passing, which is swinging it, getting the open man, and there you go. Then either Aaron Gordon is around the basket or MPJ is open from three, or KCP is open from three, and you know how it goes. You can't switch it because then Jokić is against the mismatch, and then you're screwed. So we were really struggling with that to start the game, but when Jokić came out, as I said, Norm Powell, instant offense. We went on an 8-0 run right away to begin the quarter. Russell Westbrook, solid energy, blocked MPJ, had that lob, constantly getting to the basket. DeAndre Jordan was in drop coverage, and it was just nothing to be worried about. Not like that first game we played against them this season where Reggie and DJ came and took our lunch. But the Nuggets offense, it just felt like they weren't generating the same looks without Jokić, which is obvious and not shocking. No Jokić or Murray. So they're not a very good team without those guys. But they were also just missing a bunch of shots. As I said, 35% in the second quarter and 18% from three for them. But it was good to see Amir Coffey playing well off the bench because he's been a little bit not as great lately. And to be honest, post-All-Star break hasn't been as great. Zoo had a tough second quarter. I remember talking to a fan at halftime, and he was like, Zoo, he's just playing like ass. And I'm like, well, at least he's rebounding. And defensively, I don't think he was doing much bad against Jokić. There was that one time where Jokić got him in the air and he got an and one. But it was more that Zubac was 2 for 8 from the field that I was a little disappointed. He's kind of picking up where he left off last game. And it wasn't like we were throwing him the ball and feeding him. He was missing shots on the roll and just stuff around the basket. So that was a little frustrating. But third quarter, as I said, Paul George got things going for us, and we were fine. And then I thought Russ's stint in the second half might have been even better because in the first half, he was 2 for 6. Second half, he was 2 for 3. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds, played only 11 minutes, though, in the second half out of the 24. So I was pretty shocked he didn't close the game because he really brought intensity and energy to the game in this one. It was probably one of his better games in a while. He overall had, I was looking at the wrong box score. But overall, Norman Powell, Russell Westbrook, Amir Coffey, I thought their contributions were good. And also Mason Plumlee, I don't think was actually bad. Again, of course he's going to get scored on by Jokić. It's Jokić. But there was one time he got a block, got an offensive rebound, took a couple of hard fouls. I'll take that from Mason off the bench. Even though I'm Team Daniel Tice, I thought it was a fine performance by Plumlee. I just thought our bench overall, if you look at all their plus minuses, it's in the positive, and it's not coincidence. I'm telling you, I just looked at that for the first time that they're in the positive. Norman Powell, plus 10, 11 points. Amir Coffey, 9 points, plus 18, the highest of any Clippers. So between Amir and Norm, you get 20 points right there. Russ with 12, led all bench players in scoring. 4 for 9 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. How about this one? 4 for 4 from the line. 6 boards, 5 assists, a steal and a block. 2 turnovers. He's doing a little bit of everything, though. That's what the Russell Westbrook experience is when it's going well, of course. Mason Plumlee, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 5 fouls and a block on 1-for-1 shooting in 13 minutes. Hey, I will take it. So good stuff for the bench. Don't think we could have done it without them. But coming up, going to be talking about the scheme against Jokić in the second half. And some of the guys that we give a hard time were the biggest part of it. Going to be talking about that coming up, and an update with Mr. Leonard. I got to tell you a little something about Amazon Fire TV. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. I used an Amazon Fire Stick throughout my first year of college, and it was so clutch. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, which is winding down for Final Fours coming up for both men and women, you are going to want to have a Fire TV. And Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels lets you dive into all of the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports. March Madness, NBA, MLB, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. I got to tell you a little something about Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drives and great escapes. Class-exclusive Google built-in is your always updating assistant to call on for almost anything. Gone are the days of connecting your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect midsize crossover for your next adventure. The 2024 Nissan Pathfinder has room up to 8, an expansive cargo capacity, and advanced available 4x4 capability. With 284 horsepower and up to 6,000 pounds towing, when adventure calls, the Pathfinder is there to answer. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. All right, Clippers winning it 102-100. One of our best wins in a while against the Jamal Murray-less Denver Nuggets. Of course, Clippers not having Kawhi Leonard for the 8th time this season, which again means that Kawhi is still in play for 70-plus games, which would be amazing. Surreal, to be honest, after what I was saying last season about, can you give me 10 straight games without injury? It's just amazing. But Clippers getting a big win. I'll take it. 48-28 on the year. Got 6 games left, and I think they're crucial. Not even just the record. I think we're going to probably be the 4 seed. But we got to take care of business to make sure we have home court. Even though we didn't get that top 3 seed that I wanted so bad and I thought was necessary for a championship run, I'd rather be 4 than 5 or below. Home court advantage is big. It means you are favored most likely to win a first-round series. And only 8 teams win a first-round series. So, again, let's not take for granted how high of a level it is to even be in the second round. And getting the 4 seed will help us do that. And ultimately, we need Kawhi Leonard for that. Now, I want to talk about the guys that always get given a hard time. Now, I know you might be thinking Russell Westbrook, James Harden, but I've talked about them plenty in this episode. Do I have anything else to say about James Harden? Not really. As I said in the second quarter, the floodgates kind of opened for him when he saw that first 3 go in, and then he had that and one when he blew by Aaron Gordon. But what was also really good about that second quarter is that we regained the lead when Paul George was out. And part of that was because Reggie Jackson was just bricking. He was 2 for 6 in the game. So in the third quarter, right, we put P.J. Tucker on Nikola Jokić to start and had Zubac on Aaron Gordon helping, which is something you see a lot of teams do. Particularly, I remember last season the Lakers in the conference finals towards the end of game 1, and it was a whole joke about how they figured him out, but then they got swept, which was comedy, when they had Rui Hachimura guarding Jokić to be a physical big body, get underneath them. Even though Jokić could shoot right over the top, you send over that help defender last second to just shorten the angles for a pass or his breathing room to shoot. And it was not bad. It was actually working not bad. Nikola Jokić in the second half was 5 for 12. He was 14 for 24 in the game. So you know what that means? He was 9 for 12 in the first half when we were just playing normal defense. But there were times where we had Paul George on him as the primary defender in the second half. Zubac, P.J. Tucker. There were times where we didn't double. There were times where we did double. I thought it was just a great job by the coaching staff to mix things up. And then ultimately one of the that brings me to the first guy, P.J. Tucker. I give him a hard time, but I have said this, even though I don't think he belongs in a championship contending team's rotation consistently, I think there are 2 teams in particular that we might need him against, the Denver Nuggets and the Pelicans. And I think that extra body, that physicality will be needed, even despite his offensive deficiencies. And I thought he did a pretty decent job on Jokić at times and did get a big offensive rebound for us at one point. So in this game, P.J. Tucker, 17 minutes, had a donut, which is typical. 3 rebounds, 1 assist on 0 for 2 shooting, but I don't think that fully encapsulates that he did some good things in the second half. He actually forced 2 misses on Jokić in the fourth quarter, and Zubac got 3 stops on the Joker in the fourth quarter, including one that was absolutely massive when it was 100-97, and then he got fouled after and made both free throws. I think that was such a massive play, and it's for that reason that I'm going with Zoo as my player of the game. And here's the funniest part. Like, everyone gives Zoo such a hard time, but guarding Nikola Jokić is very hard. Very hard. He might be the most unstoppable player in the NBA. Now, when people talk about that, they always say, oh, because of his passing. But we really underrate how great of a scorer Jokić is. He has counters to everything. He can turn over either shoulder in the post, and he loves that post, that mid-range. He does not overcomplicate things, which is why he is one of my favorite players to actually watch in the NBA and has been for many years. He doesn't make things too complicated. And he's got the skills to get his shot off against anyone, but Zubac is doing his best to make it tough. And that's really all you can do. So for Jokić to go 5 for 12 in the second half and have 5 turnovers in the game, yeah, he's missing his running mate in the pick and roll, Jamal Murray, but you will take it. And here's the craziest part. He still had 36, 17, and 10. Like, this guy's just a demon. But on 14 for 24 shooting and 3 for 8 from 3. But hey, we'll take the fact that he missed a free throw. We'll take the fact that he shot less than 50% from 3. And we'll take the fact that he was 5 for 12 in the second half. So, yeah, and as I said, Michael Porter's 6 for 18. Christian Brown, 3 for 9. Peyton Watson, 0 for 2. They did not get much on their bench. They only got 9 points off their bench. We had 3 players off our bench that scored at least 9. So that made a huge difference. And again, when you have Jamal Murray, then Reggie goes to the bench. But Reggie Jackson, I mean, I don't know about him playing minutes for a championship contending team, like actual minutes in the playoffs. He can be detrimental, and I love the guy. Oh, one thing I also forgot to mention is that part of the reason why Harden was being aggressive in the beginning, Paul was being aggressive in the beginning, it was because Aaron Gordon was guarding Harden, and then Aaron Gordon started guarding Paul later. So it just shows how good of a defender Aaron Gordon is. One thing Harden was doing, though, when he was having success, was he was putting MPJ in the action and getting him on the switch, and that was part of the reason why we went up by 13. But yeah, Zubac is one of the guys that everybody gives a hard time to, but let's look at his stat line in this game. He didn't shoot well. Another game where he didn't shoot well, 4 for 11. I still stand by feed him the ball more, but I mean on post-ups, not on the roll. If he's missing, he's got to do better, and he should have done better. But 14 points, 15 boards. I'll take that. And the defense, huge. My player of the game, personally, which again, people are going to disagree because he missed that layup in the last minute. I don't care. He did too many good things for me to discount it. Had a lob, by the way, over the top. And then, yeah, I mentioned the coaching staff. Everybody gives Ty Lue a hard time. You're not going to say anything, though, about the fact that he threw different things at Jokić, and he mixed it up and won the game. Like, people are going to say, that was blatantly obvious. Like, as if you could do it. He threw different things at him, and it worked. It absolutely worked. So, big-time win. Absolutely big-time. Michael Malone got ejected, which was just a cherry on top. Terrence Mann, I didn't even mention this whole episode. Shot the right shots, just didn't make them. Defensively, again, not much to say. Barely played second half. It's disappointing what's happened to him after being called Mr. Untouchable. I don't think he's actually playing that bad. As I said, he should not be your best point of attack defender or the number one option. But I don't think that his defense was bad in any way in this game. But he just didn't make shots, and he didn't play that much, which, I don't fully agree with. But then you can also argue Westbrook didn't play enough. So Terrence had 6 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals on 2 for 6 shooting. One of the reasons we won, we didn't even shoot well. We shot 38% from the field and 21 from 3 and still won. And one of the biggest reasons to me is because the Nuggets had 13 turnovers and we only had 6. And part of that is James Harden only having 1. So that makes a difference. 14-7, in the turnover department. But hope you enjoyed the episode. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a vlog will be out on Friday, and Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. The age-old proverb continues. Go, oh my God, I forgot. Pump fake the hell out of you. Kawhi Leonard. So, you don't have to believe me. You don't. But a little birdie told somebody I know at the game that everything's going to be okay. And you know I'm a guy that likes to panic about this stuff. I trust him. We'll see. It may age horribly. It may age amazingly. He was in shoot around. The age-old proverb continues.